Imagine you're 65 years old, having failed time and again, with every door seemingly closed. But then, with a secret fried chicken recipe in hand, you decide to embark on one final journey. This is precisely the story of Colonel Harlan Sanders, the founder of KFC. "I was rejected 1,009 times before I succeeded," he once said. To all you young aspiring entrepreneurs out there, if you think age or failure is an obstacle, this story will make you reconsider. Today, let's explore his journey from ashes to empire, a vivid lesson in perseverance. Let's turn back time to the 1890s. In a small town in Indiana, USA, Harlan Sanders was born into poverty. His father passed away early, and young Harlan had to drop out of school at age 12 to work. His life was like a tumultuous river, flowing through countless occupations: farmer, railroad worker, and even a self-taught lawyer. But the real dream ignited in the 1930s when he opened a small gas station in Corbin, Kentucky. To attract customers, Sanders began selling fried chicken, a family recipe with 11 secret herbs and spices. It wasn't just food, it was his passion, his way of transforming simple ingredients into pure gold on a plate. Friends, we often think that entrepreneurship must begin in youth, with grand ideas. But Sanders was different. He dreamed of an empire where everyone, no matter where they were, could enjoy the world's best fried chicken. His initial idea was merely a small roadside eatery, where travelers could stop and be drawn in by the alluring aroma. Sanders had no significant capital, no degrees, only skillful hands and an iron will. That was the genesis, a simple yet burning dream, like a small, smoldering flame waiting to erupt. What do we learn? Sometimes, the greatest ideas emerge from daily needs, from the very harsh realities of life you're experiencing. If you're at the starting point, remember, a dream doesn't need to be perfect. You just need to dare to begin. Now, slow down a bit, because this part will weigh heavily on your heart. Sanders encountered colossal walls, like rocky mountains blocking his path. In 1950, at the age of 60, his restaurant was destroyed by a major fire. Just when it seemed everything had fallen apart, Sanders rebuilt. Then disaster struck. The government built a new highway, bypassing his establishment, causing a catastrophic drop in customers. He went bankrupt, lost all his assets, and at 65 an age when many choose to retire, Sanders was left with only a $105 Social Security check each month. His most bitter failure came when he decided to sell his fried chicken recipe. He drove his old, beat-up car everywhere, knocking on the doors of restaurant after restaurant, trying to convince them to buy a franchise. But alas, constant rejections. 1,009 times he was turned down, can you imagine? Each time, he heard cold words: "You're too old. This idea is crazy." How did he feel then? Sanders once recounted feeling like a bird with broken wings, lost in a lonely desert. At times, he slept in his car, ate meager meals, and wondered if his dream was just an illusion. His life had been full of failures even before, losing his job as a lawyer, failed businesses, and even a divorce. Everything piled up, plunging him into despair, like darkness swallowing hope. We've all encountered such walls, haven't we, friends? In business, failure isn't a single event, but a long series of painful falls. Sanders not only lost money, but also the trust of his loved ones. He once thought of giving up, but then, during long nights, he realized that failure wasn't an end, but a harsh lesson. It taught him patience. It taught him that success doesn't come to the weak. If you're facing failure, job loss, a collapsed startup, remember this story. It's slow, it's heavy, but it is precisely the slowness that helps us truly grasp. The wall of challenges isn't meant to defeat you, but to forge you into a diamond. And then, the turning point arrived swift as a whirlwind sweeping away the darkness. After 1,009 rejections, Sanders met Pete Harmon, a restaurant owner in Utah. Harmon tried the recipe and was captivated. They partnered up, opening the first franchise in 1952. That was the moment Sanders changed his strategy. Instead of selling fried chicken, he sold a system, the secret recipe, along with operating procedures. He was no longer a lone salesman, but became a pioneer of the modern franchise model. Sanders' way of overcoming obstacles was iron-willed perseverance combined with innovation. He drove thousands of miles, cooking his fried chicken on the spot to demonstrate its quality, turning each meeting into a lively performance. The key lesson: don't sell the product, sell the dream. Sanders understood that people weren't just buying fried chicken, but consistency, a familiar taste wherever they went. He refused to compromise on quality, even resorting to lawsuits to protect his recipe. The pace now quickened, became more powerful. Sanders expanded rapidly, from the US to Canada, and then globally. He learned from failure. Instead of being disheartened, he analyzed each rejection to improve his pitch. Young entrepreneurs, what do we learn from this? A turning point isn't random. It arrives when you change your perspective. Sanders teaches us: turn failure into fuel, seek allies instead of going it alone, and always stay true to your core values. If your startup is stuck, try changing your strategy, perhaps franchising or pivoting your idea. Be quick, be strong, because overcoming challenges isn't about waiting, but about acting. The pinnacle arrived like a tsunami, sweeping away all doubts. By 1964, KFC had over 600 stores, and Sanders sold the company for $2 million, equivalent to tens of millions today. But he remained an ambassador, spreading the image of Colonel with his iconic white beard and white suit. KFC became a global empire, serving billions of pieces of fried chicken annually, from America to Asia. The achievement wasn't just monetary, it was a legacy, a brand that revolutionized the fast food industry, proving that entrepreneurship knows no age limits. Sanders' core philosophy: perseverance is the key, and never give up. He believed that success is 1% idea, 99% sweat. His mindset was like a lighthouse, focusing on quality, building a sustainable system, and always thinking big. Sanders teaches us: failure is the best teacher, and age is just a number. In business, think like an artist, act like an entrepreneur, be creative yet practical. His peak reminds us: success is not a destination, but a journey of continuous improvement. In summary, the journey of Colonel Sanders and KFC is a vivid testament. From poverty and continuous failure at age 65, he built an empire through perseverance and a secret recipe. We see a humble beginning, colossal walls of challenges, creative turning points, and a dazzling peak with the philosophy of never giving up. The inspiring message for young entrepreneurs: don't be afraid of failure, for it is a stepping stone to success. Be as persistent as Sanders. Transform your idea into a system. And remember that age is not a barrier. We all have a secret recipe within us. Unleash it. If you're struggling, think of those 1009 rejections and the ultimate smile of success. How many times have you been rejected on your entrepreneurial journey? Share in the comments. Let's inspire each other.